What is going on, everyone? This is Ryan with Automatic Comics, and we have got a fun video today. Did a video fairly similar, maybe about 9 months ago, when we had the collection Underneath the Stairs. And that one turned out super interesting, some really valuable books. I went through that collection, estimated the values of them, and then we ultimately ended up seeing 4 of those books, the biggest books, coming up for sale on Heritage and selling for over $150,000. So we are back with another collection. I am dubbing this one the Garage Collection. So if we see these pop up in any future videos, these ones might be a little trickier to spot, except for one. You can see it on the screen right there. This is the Garage Collection. So we have someone that posted this about a month ago on the comic book speculation page. And I had thought about making a video about it back then, and I just got distracted. Some other things happened, blah, blah, blah. And he posted it again, maybe a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. I had somebody actually reach out on Instagram and ask if I could talk about this collection. And I decided, hey, let's do this. So this was approximately 85 books, according to the person. The way they posted them was a little strange because it was like they posted them in groups of 20, but sometimes they had the same books in them. And so it just wasn't, I mean, you can kind of tell this person isn't really a comic person, but they have a serious comic collection now. So the origin of this basically is, it sounds like this person's in-laws passed away. They were cleaning out their garage and they came across this box of comics. This All-Star number 8, you can see on the top there, is in a Kirkland plastic bag. So Costco, from what I understand, it wasn't originally in that. That is what he put it in to protect that book. From later posts, he said that they are all now bagged and boarded and everything. So everybody can get their pitchforks, put them down. You don't have to freak out about that. But what we're going to talk about in this is that this is roughly $200,000 in comics from my estimates. Now, I am having to estimate these like I did with the other collection based on front covers. And from that other collection, turned out pretty well. Like what you saw on the front covers turned out to be similar to what was on the back. You could make out pretty well what those books were going to grade out as. And we don't know. I mean, it could be that these are worth way less money or in maybe possibly even more money because we don't have super detailed front and back pictures, but we have some pretty nice pictures. We can make some pretty good estimates, I think. So we're going to go through the big books. We're not going to talk about all 85, but we're still going to talk about quite a few. We're going to value those, estimate the prices. You can see all these books that are out there and get an idea what these might sell for. Now, one thing before I jump into that I wanted to comment on, and I thought was interesting when I talked about this last time with the collection Underneath the Stairs, is I had some people that were criticizing me, saying they're like, oh, you're just jealous that you didn't get that collection. And it's like, I'll just say, I feel like that says more about you than it says about me, because my main goal here, I don't want people that have these collections to get taken advantage of. I don't care. I mean, yeah, sure, it'd be cool to own them, but I don't care. It's not for me to try to like get these or keep someone else from having them. When I see collections like this, that you have somebody whose parents or grandparents put together over decades, kept safe for decades, and then I see it just get taken by some dealer and they're the ones that profit off of it, it just always bothers me. It bugs me, especially when it's stuff like this, where this is a very small set of books, but very valuable. So it's not a lot of work. This isn't like this is thousands of comics that somebody has to go through. This is not a lot of work. This can be turned into a serious amount of money with fairly little effort. And that's what I want to get across here. So let's start looking at this. You can see on the top here, I mean, we've got an All-Star number 8. We're going to talk about that one later, though, when it pops up in the list of photos. But this is kind of to whet your appetite for what's in this collection. I will say this is definitely the biggest book. First Wonder Woman, biggest book in this collection. But let's start getting into it. And you can see here he posted this because people didn't believe him. This is the box that these comics were in, like no bags, no boards, just in this wooden box. And some of them are in incredible condition, or at least appear to be in incredible condition. I know I'll have people ask this, like, should this be a pedigree? No, it should not be a pedigree. It's not enough books. The conditions on average aren't high enough, but they are still very, very nice. So, all right, enough talking. Let's get into it. So this is how he posted most of these, is he's just like posted like 20 books, and it's just like 20 pictures of those books. And so that's how we're going to go through these. And you can really see, I'm looking at these from the perspective of what I think they would be after they get pressed and cleaned, because there's no way you would grade these, sell these without getting them pressed and cleaned first. And you can just tell, like, a lot of these books are real nice. This is a Captain Marvel #5. I think this one, I have it as possibly as high as an 8 to an 8.5. I think it's more likely a 6.5 to a 7. It depends what this is along the right edge. If this is just tanning, not as big of a deal. If it's maybe some water staining, I think it's on the lower end of that. But that's just tanning. I think this is an 8 to an 8.5 possible, graded book. And you can see it's just like, it's overall very nice. Like, no significant wear along the spine, just some slight rounded corners, a little bit of tanning, and just no big tears or anything. Now, we can't see the back, but we're making these estimates based on the front cover. And I'm not going to go and show you GPA for all of these. I did price these all out, so we'll talk about that. But with GPA here, you can see, if this book in a 6.5 is a $1,600 book. So I estimated it at $1,600 to be conservative. But if this book is up around an 8 or an 8.5, it's probably $2,000, $2,500. And so I did, when I priced these all out, I priced the price that I think it is, and then the price that it could potentially be for some of them when I thought there may be a big difference based on what type of flaw might be there. But you can see right here, starting off strong, $1,600, maybe even a $2,000 book with Captain Marvel #5, what appears to be very nice. All right, let's move on. Now we've got an Action Comics 38. So action, and you'll see here, this book was from 1941. A lot of these books are roughly 1940 to 1942. So a pretty tight set, some a little outside of that, but most of them in that range. Action Comics #38. I think this could be a 7 to a 7.5. I mean, it's got a little dust shadow on the edge, but overall extremely clean, cool Superman cover. And, maybe just a little like corner wear here that might be a small tear, but I think a 7 to a 7.5, especially after cleaning, the spine looks super nice. And some of these, again, I may be a little bit conservative. They could be even better. And I have this one roughly estimated at $2,500 for Action Comics #38. All right. I've got Action Comics #29. This one I have a pretty big range because I can't tell if this is split down here or if that's just lighting that's making that kind of effect on the bottom of the cover. But I have this one at either a 4.5 to a 5 or a 6.5 to a 7 for Action Comics #29. Again, very nice, just some dust shadows, but overall really clean edges. Just, a little bit of edge wear, maybe a couple small tears, but overall nice looking book. Maybe a little split up at the top too. But even in that 4.5 to a 5 range, this is an $1,800 book. If this book is in that 6.5 to 7 range, though, it is a $5,000 book. So regardless, multiple thousands of dollars, maybe even up to $5,000 for this Action Comics #29. All right, now we've got Captain Marvel Adventures #28. This one looks exceptional. I have this as an 8.5 to a 9. I mean, maybe a little bindery tear up here, little wear down here. Could even be nicer. I mean, look how sharp these corners and edges are. I mean, after pressing, could even be a little nicer than that. But I think at least an 8.5 to a 9, assuming there's nothing big on the back. We'll just look that one up because we have Captain Marvel here as well. So you can see Captain Marvel Adventures #28 in an 8.5 to a 9. Here we can see there's some really nice ones, Edgar Church and that kind of thing. But still, like, look in this range, 8.5, 1,000 to 1,300. So I've got it at $1,200 roughly for this book. All right, let's keep moving here. This next one, Action Comics #48. I have this one as an 8 to an 8.5. This is possibly a top of census book. And again, you can just tell, like, there's certain books, and I talked about this with that collection Underneath the Stairs. When you see spines that look like this, you just know this book is nice. Like, this is the characteristic of a high grade book. And, it's got like a little bit of wear along the edge, but a lot of this stuff looks like kind of like some indentations, could press out very well. This looks like a very nice book. A little bit of wear on the edge here, maybe a small tear, a little bit of wear down in that corner, and a little bit of tanning. But I think this book could be a 8 to an 8.5. I have it at $8,000, possibly $10,000 for this book. This one, because I think this is possibly top of census, we're going to talk about this book a little bit more. So Action Comics #48 from 1942. And you can see here that the Edgar Church Mile High is a 9. And that's why I said I have it as an 8 to an 8.5, but I wouldn't be shocked if maybe it got a little better than that, especially after pressing and cleaning. So it has the potential to be that top of census book. Look like a 6.5 for 2,700. The 9.0, 30,000. I mean, that was comic boom period, and it's an Edgar Church, which will get a bonus. But that's why I just potentially a very, very high dollar book. And an 8.5, 9 years ago, selling for 8,000. So I think that this book could be one of the big books from this collection, especially because of the condition. Super cool war cover and looks to be very high grade. Again, it's possible it gets lower, but it's still going to be a very valuable book. I mean, even in mid grade, which I can't imagine this is mid grade unless it has a ton of staining or something. It's still $2,000 to $3,000. Still very, very valuable book. All right, Action Comics number 41. Again, a very nice book. I think this book, after pressing, is a 9.0 plus. I mean, look at that spine. Assuming these staples are attached, edges and corners. There's some dimpling and stuff here, but that can be pressed out. That is no problem. This is a stunning copy of this book. Another book that I have at roughly $8,000. So this is number 41 here. And you can see the books just aren't in any order. That's one of the other things a little challenging. You'll see me jumping around with these. But I have this one set as a 9.0 plus. We had an 8.0 sell for 5,000, 7.5 here sell for 5,000. I mean, I think 8,000 is very possible with this book once it's pressed and cleaned and graded. All right, now we've got Action Comics 40, another war cover. This one a little bit lower grade, but still very nice. I have it as a 7.5 to an 8. I have it as $5,500. It's got the dust shadow. It's got what appears to, it could be a spine roll or it could be a miswrap. You can see a little bit more wear to the spine. I could be overestimating this one a little bit based on that spine there, but I still think it could clean up very, very well. I would not be surprised at a 7 at worst. And this book I have at $5,500. I mean, especially the Action Comics Superman books that are war related hold a lot of value. And this book looks very, very nice. Great colors too, no fading or anything. All right. Now there's a really nice set of World's Finest in this collection. We've got World's Finest number 13. I have this one estimated at a 7.5. There is a split you can see down on this bottom here, but I still think this can do very, very well. Otherwise, I mean, it looks like it has kind of a bend to it, but definitely a book you'd get pressed. Very sharp edges, very sharp corners, just nothing that really jumps out as problematic with this book. Have this one at $1,400. Again, you've got a World War II related cover. Now we've got World's Finest number 14. I have this one as a 9 to a 9.2 because I don't see any splitting and it's equally as nice. Just stunning book. $5,500, possibly $8,000, possible top of census book. So again, because of that, we're going to jump over here. World's Finest number 14. I mean, there are a few possible top of census books that I think are in this box of comics. And you can see here, I have this as a 9 to a 9.2. We've got the Crowley copy as a 9.2. And if we go to the CGC census for this, you can see top of census is a 9.2. There's 192, 2 9.0s. I think this could potentially tie that top of census book. 8.0, 1,800. But once you get top of census, you're going to get a couple multiples on there. And that's why I think you've got the potential of a $5,500 book if it's a 9, and 8,000 plus if it is a 9.2, if it ties that top of census copy. All right, let's keep going. Got Action Comics number 60. This one's a little more beat up, but this is a very desirable book. I have this one as a 3.0, a lot more wear. It looks like possibly the cover is detached, but still great colors. No big missing pieces or anything like that. I have this one at $1,200. Now we've got World's Finest number 9. Very in-demand cover from this run. You've got the dictators of the Axis on the cover there with getting baseballs thrown at their faces. So World's Finest number 9. I have this one as an 8 to an 8.5. I have this one at $5,500, potentially as high as $7,000. It does have a little bit of paper loss in these corners up here. I don't know if that's bug chew or what. To me, it looks like it's probably bug chew, but still an exceptional copy otherwise. That's why I'm giving this book an 8 to an 8.5 and not something like a 9 or a 9.2 or higher. I think these books are very exceptional, and absolutely need to be, graded, pressed, cleaned, all that kind of stuff. I highly recommend the person, coordinate with someone like Heritage to handle this. So if they ever see this video, because they didn't seem like they're familiar with comics. So hopefully this, this gets to them and helps them out. Now we've got World's Finest number 10. I have this as a 9 to a 9.2. I mean, look at this book. Maybe it might be a stain up there. I can't tell if that's a stain or something else, but just you can tell how clean this book is. And it's got a bend here, but this is the type of stuff that can get pressed. There could be something on the back. You never know for sure, but this looks to be an exceptional copy of this. I have it as anywhere from 4,000 to 6,500, another possible top of census book. So if we go to issue number 10, and like I said, I have this one as a possible 9 to a 9.2. The Edgar Church is a 9.2. I mean, when you're up in the realm of potentially being like the Edgar Church copies of these books, it's something else. But you can see 192, 190. I mean, it's rare air regardless up in these high grades. And this book can potentially command a significant amount of value. And even if I'm wrong, and it's not 4,000 to 6,500, it's still like, there's no way it's outside of like these ranges. It's still $1,000+ book. And so something that is just a very high value book. We'll get to that one later. All right. Now we've got World's Finest number 12. I have this one as a 9.4. This book is in one of the other pictures as well. I don't remember if I don't know if I have it up here. Maybe I do somewhere else. Is it this one? No, I don't know. But you can see the side of it, like where you can actually see the spine. It is like the nicest looking spine I've probably ever seen from a World's Finest comic. I mean, it's just incredible. Like there is no splitting. It looks perfect. And so this is World's Finest number 12, just an incredible copy of this book. From the front, I could be wrong, but from the front, this one, because it's another one that I have as a possible top of census book. I mean, look at this. Nothing above a 9 has ever sold publicly. This book, the top of census is a 9.4. There's a 9.2 and a 9.0. So I think it could tie that top of census book. I mean, who knows? Maybe even get a 9.6. And we have an 8.5 going for 1,600 recently, a 9.0 at 3,000 6 years ago. I have this book at 6,000, possibly 12,000 if this hits a 9.4, and could even do more. I mean, when you're talking top of census books, you just never really know for sure what those books are going to achieve. All right. Now we've got World's Finest number 4. I have this as an 8 to an 8.5. Cool skiing cover, looks very, very nice. Has a little bit of damage on the top of the spine and a little bit of that paper loss again from maybe like bug chew or something. Again, maybe it's a 7.5. I mean, don't beat me up too much on it, but I have this as a $3,000 book. Incredible. All right. World's Finest number 6. Really cool, patriotic cover. I have this one as a 7.0. A little bit more wear, like maybe a tear there. And again, I feel like, this is why I graded that. There's a crease in this bottom right corner. So there's this crease done in this bottom right corner. And so that's why I've got it capped at about a 7, got it at $1,100. All right, now we've got World's Finest number 8. I have this one as a 7 to a 7.5. Again, a little bit of that bug chew on the top edge and this stain right here. Still an incredible, like structurally looking book. I mean, you can tell the spine is super, super clean, very sharp edges, very sharp corners, just this top edge there. And so this one, World's Finest number 8, I have at $1,200. It's just cool seeing all these in this type of condition. All right, now this one I did not price out because if I felt like it was in that like couple $100 range, I didn't take the time to price it. So Wiz Comics number 15, we can still look at them. Now we've got World's Finest number 2. I have this one as a 6.5 to a 7. This is actually the first issue of the run with this title. Previous to that, it's like World's Best Comics, I believe. So this is World's Finest number 2. I have this as a 6.5 to a 7. I think it was largely because of this. It looked like a split up here, but oh yeah. And then if you look closer, you can see these creases along the front. It might be hard to see on your screen there, but they are definitely there. There are these kind of like longer creases here. So very impressive looking book, but I do have it as a 6.5 to a 7, which I have as $4,000 to $6,000. Then we've got World's Finest number 3. This is a big one because this is the first appearance of the Scarecrow, and this copy is always wrecked. This book is always wrecked, and this one also looks pretty nice. I have it as a 6.5 to a 7. Again, the main reason is these kind of like light crease / scratch things on the cover here. But otherwise, spine looks super clean, sharp edges, sharp corners. I think this book would clean up very, very nice. 6.5 to a 7, I have at $8,000. This one I skipped, and that was the last one from this group of 20. So let's move on to the next. Now we have another group of 20, more fun, number 91. I have this as a 6.5 to a 7. Again, it's got a dust shadow. It's got maybe a little something going on up here, but it still looks very, very nice. A little chip down in the corner. I mean, I still don't think it would get down into a 6. I still think 6.5 to 7 is reasonable. I have it at $800. All right, now we've got All-Star number 4. A little bit lower grade on this one. Got a chip there, a little wear on the spine, chip here, chip here. I have this one as a 4.5 to a 5.5, and I have it at $1,600. I think this is the first time the Justice Society goes like on an actual like adventure. Their first appearance is issue 3. This is the first time they're going out and actually doing something. All right, now we've got All-Star number 5. All-Star number 5, I have this one as an 8.5 to a 9. I mean, look at this book. Black cover, like it's got, again, the dust shadow over here, especially in the Golden Age. The dust shadows don't hurt the grade as much as you might think they will. So, I mean, you can even have some 9/8 with small enough dust shadows. I've seen them with Edgar Church, I've seen them with Promise Collection, as well as other pedigrees. But I mean, yeah, look at how nice this is. Again, like I said, like this is the hallmark of a high grade book, the way that spine looks. And this one I have as $6,000 to $8,000 in this grade, 8.5 to a 9. All right, now we've got All-Star number 6. I have this one as a 9 to a 9.2. Again, stunning book, just a tiny bit of wear on this top edge and in that corner. I think as long as there's no like splitting or anything like that, I mean, the staples look good. I have this one as a 9 to a 9.2, a $3,000 book. Then we've got Smash Comics number 22. I did not price this one, so we're going to keep going. Did not price that one. Did not price that one. Did not price that one. What's the next one I priced? Did not price that. Did not price that. I did price this. So this one I have as a 7 to a 7.5. Very, very nice book. You can just tell. I mean, it looks nice. And I have this at $3,500. And like I said, I didn't price those other ones just because I felt like they were kind of in that little bit lower price point. Still a few $100 likely each, or 100 to 300, but just for the purposes of time, not worth pricing. Then we've got Smash Comics number 15. I have this as a 7 to a 7.5, and I have this as a $1,200 book. Then let's see, we have Smash Comics number 17. I think I priced this one. Yes, I did. Smash Comics number 17, and I have this one as a 6.5 to a 7. I still think maybe I don't know if that's the right one, but if it is, we'll just go with it. 6.5 to a 7 at $800. Let's look it up real quick, just make sure I'm not wrong. I had something wrong in my notes. I had Smash 15 again. I probably just copied and pasted wrong, but it's probably, I meant that to be 17. So 6.5 to a 7, yeah. So I had a 7 for 1,000. So yes, that is the correct one. So 6.5 to a 7 for what do I have? $800. All right, let's keep moving. Now we've got Wiz Comics number 43. I have this as a 9 to a 9.2. And look at this. It's like all you've got are like a couple little bindery chips, like, or not even chips, like small bindery tears. Super clean. I mean, you can tell like this stuff will clean up with a press. Really, really clean looking book. Not an overly valuable book normally, but it is a 9 to a 9.2. So I have it as $600. Then we've got World's Best number 1. This is what preempted World's Finest. I have this one as a 5.5 to a 6. Again, it does have some paper loss on the top edge there and maybe a little bit of splitting. Maybe it gets a 5, but I still think this is appears to be a very exceptional copy of this book. And so I have this one as $6,000 to $8,000. I mean, these square bound World's Finest, World's Best books are tough to get in even mid-grade condition. And so to have them in mid-grade, especially these early ones, and then those like exceptional high-grade copies is very rare. All right, then did I price this one out? I did. Smash Comics number 13. I have this as a 6.5 to a 7 for $500. Then we've got Wiz Comics number 22. I have this as a 7.5 to an 8 for $1,000. Again, just, I mean, a very nice structurally sound book, just a little bit of like a little darker dust shadows on this one. So I hit it just a touch more. Then we've got Wiz Comics number 27. I did not price this one out, but you can tell it is a very nice book. Maybe a little bug chew up on the top there. And Wiz Comics, did I price you out? Yes, I did. Wiz Comics number 7. This one as a 6 to a 6.5. The main reason I'm hitting it is the split at the top. I have had a very similar book from the Golden Age with a very similar split that got a 6.5. So I'm giving it a 6 to a 6.5 as well, which is roughly $1,000 book. All right. Then we've got Captain Marvel number 14. This one I have a 6.5 to a 7 for $600. So I don't know if you've been keeping track, but I have been, and I will give you the grand total at the end. Like I said, this will all exceed roughly $200,000. So definitely a collection that would be worthwhile for this person to have graded and sold through something like an auction house. You can always try to sell it yourself on eBay or whatever, but I think they would probably do better somewhere else. All right, let's move on. Next 20. We've got Future Comics. I had never even seen this title before, so I had to look it up. Future Comics number 3. I have this as a 3 to a 3.5. Looks like it's at least detached down here, a little bit of splitting. There's a little more wear to the book, and I have this one as $500. It looks like there could even be color touch there. I don't know for sure, though, if that's staining or something else. All right, then we've got Superman number 8, another more well-known book. Early Superman, and it looks very nice. I have it as an 8.5 to a 9. Just needs to be pressed. It's got a little bit of a shadow up here. I have this as a $6,000 book. Then we've got Superman number 36. I have this as a 7 to a 7.5. It's got some kind of like longer bend things on the cover, but it looks like they can probably be pressed. If they can't, it's going to be lower value. If these break color or fiber or whatever, they can't be pressed out, it's going to be lower. But this isn't one of the super high value ones, so it's not a big deal. I have it at $750. Then we have Crack Comics number 19. I have it as a 6 to a 6.5. And it's got a little tear over here, but otherwise looks very structurally sound. And I have this one at $500. It may be a detached top staple that could potentially lower it a little more, but it's hard to tell from this angle. Then we've got America's Greatest number 5. Not a high dollar book, but I just wanted to price it out. So I've got this one at a 6.5 for $500. A little bit of a split up here, a little bit of paper loss here, a crease down in this corner, but otherwise very nice colors. Just structurally good looking book. Then I also had to price Future Comics number 2, 6 to a 6.5, $1,000 book for this guy that appears to want to be a rooster. Then we've got, did I price this one? I did not. Sparkler Comics number 5, but I did not price it. All Flash, though. I did price this one. All Flash number 8. I have this as a 6.5. It's got a crease here. It's got a little bit more wear along the spine, but a $500 book. We've got Adventure Comics number 71. I have this one as a 5.5 to a 6. This one, roughly a $1,000 book. It's got kind of a stain here. That's what's really lowering it down. That's why I hit it. Otherwise, it would have been a much nicer grade book. And we've got Leading Comics number 13. Did I price you out? I did not. So no price for you. I think it was largely because this one had a little more of that bug chew on the top, a little more damage to it, but still think it's like it looks very nice. Otherwise, still probably a book that would end up getting like a 5.5, something like that, even with that paper loss, maybe even a 6. Green Mask, not a high dollar book. I did not price it. Action Comics number 27. Like I said, it's kind of random, the order of these pictures. I had this one as a 4.5 to a 5. A little more wear. It looks like I figured this might be a detached staple here. It looks like a little more splitting to this book, but still a $1,400 book. Early Action Comics. We got Flash Comics number 25. This is a 7.0. Cool Hawkman cover. $1,000 book. And then we've got Flash Comics number 18. I have this as a 4.5, a little bit lower grade. I don't remember why. Oh, yeah, I felt like this looked like there may be a big split down here. Looked like it could be a detached staple. So this one just felt like it may be a little bit lower. It's a little more overall wear to it. And I had this one as $500. We've got Mystery Men. This is a random, one to appear in here with all the other stuff that was part of this collection, but Mystery Men number 12, and it looks to be exceptional. I have this as an 8 to an 8.5. I mean, it's got this little thing in the corner I think can largely be pressed out. The spine looks good as long as there's no real splitting or anything. It's possible there is splitting, which would hurt it a lot. But At an 8 to an 8.5, I have this as a $6,000 to an $8,000 book, possibly the second highest graded copy behind the Mile High. So, I mean, I've owned a copy of this one before, and mine was in much, much lower grade. This looks to be an exceptional book. Then we've got, I didn't price, I don't think, any of the feature comics. Those are all kind of a little bit lower grade. Now we've got the All-Star Comics number 8. I thought I had a better picture of this one somewhere, but maybe I didn't. And you can see how he repeats pictures sometimes. Like we saw this more fun in a different post. But All-Star number 8, I estimated this one as a 5 to a 5.5. Let's see if I've got a better picture of that one somewhere. I don't remember if I do. Maybe I don't. We're going to quickly check just to see. Sorry for the quick scan. Nope, I did not have a better picture of that one here. I know. Oh, here's one. This is where it is. So here's the All-Star number 8. So it looks to be very nice. He did provide a flip through, I think here. Yeah, so we'll be able to see some of the interior. Not a full flip through, but All-Star number 8. I have this one as a 5 to a 5.5. I compared to some other copies that are out there. It could maybe do a 6. There's a decent amount of tanning on this book, and so that's the thing that could end up hurting it. But the spine looks pretty nice. There's a few little kind of like tears along the spine, but looks to be very, very nice. I have this as $50,000 to $55,000, and like I said, I could be underestimating this one a touch. But if we want to see the interior, here's where he's showing the interior of that All-Star number 8, and so you can see like it's pretty nice. But you can see some of that tanning there. You can see some of that tanning on the interior of the cover on the edge, but it's not too bad. I mean, I've seen much worse. So yeah, I mean, I could be underestimating a bit. Like I said, I did do some comparisons with other copies to try to get an accurate picture. But yeah, I think 50 to 55,000 is what that book is roughly at. Now we've got just a couple more, and this is where there's just a couple books that are spaced inside of these listings. I think it was a Captain Marvel 23. Yeah, this one right here, which I had anywhere from a 4 to a 7.5. So anywhere from $300 to $1,000. It was because I wasn't sure. There was something I wasn't sure if this was detached. That's what it was. This looked like it was possibly detached. It's kind of got that Hallmark sign where the paper's flared out a bit, that it may be detached, which would ultimately lower the grade significantly. But $300 to $1,000. And then the only other new book was in here, and it was early on. This is the one that I was flipping through quickly. See, these, like, they're all books that we've seen already in the other posts. And it was a Mystery Men number 17. This book right here, I had this as a 6.5 to a 7. It does appear to be attached. It's possible it's not, but just like a little split, a little bit of wear along the edge, but I think could press out very, very well. And I have this as a $1,000 book. So if you've stuck with me through all of that, the grand total on the lower end for what I thought these books would be is $172,700. If for the ones where I had a range, where I thought maybe I was undergrading, or it might have, if I couldn't really tell based on the flaws, $204,500. So anywhere from roughly 170 to 200,000. Assuming that the back covers look as nice as the front, that there's no like staining or things like that are impacting the values of the books. But there are a lot of $1,000+ books in this collection. This was from 46 of the books that I priced. Plus, then I took the other 39 and I just roughly estimated $150 per book, which gave me another $5,850. That's where these numbers came from. Because we clearly didn't see all 85. Like I don't know, just the way that the pictures were posted, it was just kind of like haphazard. So we didn't see all 85, even with the ones I skipped. So there could be something else that maybe is valuable in there that we're just not aware of. But really, really cool collection. Awesome to see that, I mean, it's obviously not great, that you find it after somebody passes away, but really cool that this person found that and didn't throw it out, because they mentioned that they had originally planned on just throwing them out. And then they decided to check them a little bit more. And then they realized, how much potential value was there. I don't even think they really had an idea until they started talking with people on this post. But hopefully this gets back to them. Hopefully we see some of these pop up maybe on Heritage or something like that. Because while, I mean, the All-Star I'd probably be able to spot. And then the other things we'd really be looking for are some of these super high grade World's Finest. Those ones might also stick out if they ultimately end up being, 9.0, 9.2, 9.4 type books, because they just don't come up for sale very often. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, just remember, don't throw away your family's legacy to someone else. If you come across something like this, like, at least do a little bit of research and look into it, and don't give that money away to a dealer or something. But hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit that like button, subscribe button, notification bell, and I will see you on the next one.